Welcome to another Guide 2 with me, MrSealyp. So what exactly am I going to be getting into in this video? As it says, slot counts and mods, that's going to be the focus. This is not going to interest everybody. That said, it might well do. It probably won't interest PC gamers as much as it does console gamers, and I'm sure I will get an absolute tirade of comments from PC gamers saying, buy a PC. I get it, and it happens a lot. Not everyone's going to buy a PC. Not everyone can afford to buy a PC. Lots of people that have played on console for a long time stick to console because it's what they know. Some people do convert over, some people run on multi-platforms, that's entirely up to them. But I'm going to focus on mods and the slot counts and how that impacts on what you play and how you play the game. Especially if you're YouTubing and you're making videos, how that makes a difference. People have asked me to do a bit of a rundown on what maps I run, how I store them, how I choose my mods, that kind of thing. So it's a kind of bit of everything really. So if I go into mods from where I am now, your usual mod hub, you've got your installed mods, which to be fair I haven't got a huge amount of mods installed compared to some people. My used system storage on the top right hand corner says 60%. Now if I go to maps, top right hand corner, I only have 2 maps installed at the moment. Those are the 2 maps I am running as Let's Plays, the Valley of the Old Farm and Oakfield Farm. With those and the mods I've got installed, I'm at 60% storage. Now that storage will be affected by the amount of mods you have installed, and with mod maps, the size of the map, the intricacy and the detail of the map will make a massive difference. For example, if I click on Ballincraig Estate, bottom right hand corner, or if I actually click on it there, top right hand corner, it says 188.99 megabytes. Not particularly big at all. If I then go across to say Woodshire, 636.34 megabytes, much bigger. I install that, it's a big chunk of storage disappearing. Now, why am I telling you this? Because that has an impact and an effect on the slot count. So when I come out of here, back out, this is the other thing I was going to mention. On PlayStation, again, I'm not 100% certain about Xbox, I don't play on Xbox, but you only have 10 save game slots. Now you say only. That's plenty. But when you do a few Let's Plays, for example, I just finished the West Coast, that's still sitting there and I haven't deleted the save game. Although the map is uninstalled, the save game is still sitting there. I've got Oakfield I'm running, I've got the Valley of the Old Farm I'm running, I've also got Sosnovka, which is my test map. That's the one I'm going to pop onto in a minute. Then I've got all these other slots spare. The problem is, if I do what I've done on the West Coast, and I keep my save games, because I had some people comment say, could you go back onto Chellington? Could you go back onto Drummond Farm? Could you continue the Let's Play or revisit? I can't keep all of them. I could only keep 10 maximum. And when you go back into the mod hub and you look at how many maps there are actually available, you then get to a point you've got to start deleting them. You have to. There's no other way of doing it. I tried backing them up to memory sticks, but the problem is it saves it as save game 8, whatever it might be. When you reload it, it will overwrite something that's already in that slot if it's still there, so it's a bit of a gamble. So anyway, that being said, let's jump onto Sosnovka, which is my test map, and we'll talk a little bit more about slot counts, the mods and the impact that new mods have on that slot count. So I'm on Sosnovka. This is my test map and this is a Giants map. This is the standard in game. Goldcrest Valley, Sosnovka, the 2 maps you start with on FS17. Now if I go into the store and I click on something, straight away top right hand corner it says free slots. At the moment the only thing I've got installed, I think I've got Scorpion King. Now free slot says 963. That's pretty good. When this game first came out on FS15, you only got a certain amount of vehicle allocations. You could only have a certain amount of vehicles. When this came out, we were told unlimited, do what you like. But that was not the case. What would happen is you would start to buy or install or whatever vehicles into your game, and then all of a sudden you'd come on here and that would say how many slots you had left. That slot count was a lot lower. And what they've done with various updates is that slot count has increased. But the slot count is still there nonetheless. And why I said about the maps earlier, why that's important, the more detailed, complex, and I would say cluttered, I suppose cluttered is maybe the word, the more a map has on it, the less free slots you start with. I'm pretty sure on Oakfield that I've just started on, my slot count straight off the bat is only around 600. That's a big difference, a huge difference. So what you're asking yourself is, I'm sacrificing certain map elements to gain slots on my vehicles, or do I have a much more intricate map and then less mods installed? So already you're into this situation where you're thinking about your slot count. Now some people will come on and they'll play and they'll install everything they want happily, never think about their slots at all, it's never an issue. And to be fair, I don't think I've ever got very, very close to that slot count. I've never got down to the point where it's saying you've got like 3 slots left. Just haven't done it. But if we start looking at mods that you can install, that's where we start seeing some real big discrepancies. Well, not discrepancies, but differences, gaps, in the range of slot counts that it takes for a mod. Now I get it. I've said this before as well. I'm not a mod maker. I'm not a map maker. I make my YouTube videos and I put them up. Now, the thing about it being, different mods, depending again how intricate they are and what they do on moving parts, on animations, will have a higher slot count. They require more space. And there's been all sorts of questions asked. Now, what I'm telling you is based upon what I understand to be the truth, based upon different forum chats, different things I've gleaned over the time I've been doing this. Some of this I could be wrong as well, and if I am, please feel free to comment and let me know in a nice way. No need to be abusive, you know. If I'm wrong, then by all means correct me, because I could be wrong. If you're a modder out there and you make your mods, and if I have got this wrong, then please let me know. So for example, we'll look in tractors to start off with. The in-game tractors, as I scroll across, it gives you the vehicle, and then at the bottom left-hand corner, you've got a little row of bars. And it says on this one, the Hurleyman, -10. So if I get that vehicle in-game, it will take up 10 slots. The game has to register that mod, all of the details about it, the shape and everything. That takes up 10 of those slots. It takes up memory space, whatever it takes up. So if I do that, even if I lease it, that's taken up 10 slots. Now when you look at the bottom left hand corner, it only says 1. So if I get another one, it's only going to use up 1 slot now. So I can have duplicates of that tractor, no problem at all, and not use up many slots, because the first one is the one the computer's got to recognise with all the detail. The next ones after that are just duplicates of that particular model that you've put into the game. So that's fair enough. And if you start scrolling across, you look, you've got 11, 17, 16, 14, 12, and these are all the in-game tractors, 12, 12, 12, 11. The more complicated the tractor, the bigger the tractor, you know. Now, interestingly, that Fendt 300, that's 21 slots. So you start asking yourself, well, what's the difference between the Zetor Forterra HD and the Fendt 300? You know, they both move, they've got 3-point linkages, they steer. Why is one 21 slots? Why is one 12? That's something I actually don't know, and it's the interesting point about this. So you carry on going up 12, 14, 16, 21 again. We've got another Fendt, 21 slots. It's a big jump up. Back to 12 again. 20 for the Valtra. So the Valtras are quite high. Now as we go up through the range, you'll see they start to, you know, some of them are still okay. 16, 12, 18. They start to creep up a bit. 15, 15. Not in 12s anymore. The Deutschfast says 1 because I've already got one. I've just realised I've got one of those already. Now, when I get to the Massey Ferguson 8700, that says 13 slots. But there's the black edition of this as well. Back into tractors, that says 14. So realistically, that's actually not too bad. The standard in-game one's 13. The modded black edition one's 14. 1 slot different. We go to the challenges. That there were modded editions from Giants. Again, not too bad. 20. The Big Bud DLC pack, though, that's a bit of a change. We've got 32 slots for the Big Bud 450. 28 for the Big Bud 747, which is the bigger version. It's interesting how those slot counts, I mean, that's a big jump up. You can get one of the tractors in game for 12, then the Big Bud DLC one, 32 slots. So you start seeing, it doesn't seem like a lot, but then as you start to play the game, you start installing different mods, putting mods into the game, your slots drop. I mean, rapidly, can really drop. Placeables are the same, but interestingly, when I get further on onto these ones, the Platinum Edition, Starers. Now that's just a, what's that? The Starer ST Max 150/180. That's a 150 horsepower tractor. Nothing over the top. The colour's orange. 32 slots that takes up. The smaller one, the ST Max 105, is 17. Not horrendous, but 32. That's a crazy amount of slots. Even the Valtra Cow Edition, 32 slots. Then we get onto the Massey Fergusons, and these are interesting too. Small little compact tractors. There's a lot going on. There's animations. There's various different things these can do. 31, 23, 23, 18, 18, 29. You know, that's a lot of slots to be taken up. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not criticising and saying that's awful, it's outrageous, they should be lower slots. If that's what they take, that's what they take. And they're cracking mods. They're absolutely brilliant. But when people start talking about their slot counts and start saying, I don't know what to install now, if you are getting close to your limit on your slot count, it can make a big difference what vehicles you use in game, what vehicles you choose. People are choosing the mods they install based upon the slot count, not on whether they like the mod or not, which is a pity. It makes a big difference. If we look at the beta harvesters that have come out recently, the in-game Terrados T440, 17 slots. Does everything a beta harvester needs to. Move on to the new Roper pack. The Roper version is 26. If we look at the Terra Felis, I'm never quite sure, the one that picks the sugar beet off the ground, 10 slots. The Roper version, 22. Now, for all intents and purposes, these vehicles are pretty much identical. I think the cab on the Roper lifts up. The scripts and stuff I assume are the same. Again, I could be wrong on this. It might be a little bit more detailed. But the difference between 10 and 22 slots. If people are really, honestly, choosing their mods based upon the slot counts, they're not going to use these. They are going to go for something with a lower slot count. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going. If I go on to potato harvesters, the Grimmy SE 260, that's got 14 slots that requires. The Roper version, which is an almost identical one, 20. 14, 20. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it starts adding up. Now, like I said, I'm on Sosnovka. I haven't got hardly anything installed at the moment, and my slot count's at 967. So you ask yourself, especially if you're a PC gamer, don't know what you're complaining about. No, I know. At the end of the day, this is just to let people know what's out there, what's happening, how it works, where the slots get taken from, why the slot count drops. If you go into a complicated, big map, you might start off with a slot count of only 400. So automatically, before you even start putting vehicles into your game, you're conscious of your slot count. You're conscious of what vehicles you're going to use and choose, which seems like a bit of a pity. I know they don't want to overclog the PlayStation. No, the PlayStation 4 was supposed to be hailed as this, it's the new greatest whiz-bangy, get the PlayStation 4 Pro, and it does all this extra stuff. But surely it's got the computing power to do more than that. The Platinum expansion stuff, as you go across, is horrendous. It gets a little scary in places when you get onto the case A8800 multi-row, 47 slots. 47. Again, I know, does a load of cool stuff. It looks awesome. Moving parts, very, very detailed. 47 slots. And that's the Giants made that. That's a Giants produced bit of kit. So some of the slots get a little bit scary. Trailers, 28 for a trailer. I know it tips, I get that, but that's quite high. Anyway, that, for all intents and purposes, is what the video is about. It's looking at the fact that If you've never played it before, if you're wondering what the slot count's for, what it does, that's it. It allocates you slots. You start using vehicles in game, you start buying them, that slot count drops. If you get duplicates of the same vehicle, every duplicate is only one, takes one off. I'm pretty sure, actually, looking at seeders, I think some of the seeders are quite scary, the sewing machines on the newer ones. We're starting off on 6s and 7s and 6s and 7s, 10s and 12s. That's not too bad. And we get up to some of the modded ones. You got the Terminator TH18, 26 slots. That's a big jump up from saying, well, I can have 8 for the Condor or 26 for that. If I combine that with the TH1400 from Hatson Bickler, those two together are going to give you 37 slots together. That was not too bad, 23 on its own. If we then look at the air cart, you're looking at 16 and 17. Not too bad together. Scroll across again to the Stara ones, 30 and 16. The horse pack, 31 and 23. It's a lot of slots. You know, you start playing the game, you start deciding you're going to add new things in, and all of a sudden your slot count drops through the floor. The man trucks, 24, 33, 31. It's something to think about. I hadn't thought about it until recently, and someone asked me that when I do my mod reviews, could I please talk about the slots they take up, because it's not something I normally mention. And it didn't really even dawn on me that people were basing their choices of what mods to install on how many slots they took up. Because the game's been out a little while now, and I think people's mod hubs are chock full of all the great mods they want, all the great mods they want to use, but people's slot counts are so low now, they're looking thinking, I can't install that, I can't use that, I'd like to, but I can't. Is there an answer to that? I don't suppose there is. Can Giants increase the amount of slots that are available on PS4? I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sure people will debate it long into the wee small hours, but I just thought I would mention it, I would bring it up and highlight the difference between some of the standard in-game stuff, some of the modded stuff. But interestingly, it seems to me that the weird thing is some of Giant's own stuff that comes out, if their vanilla in-game versions are so low, why, when they're bringing out additions to those vanilla ones, why are the slot counts so high? Somebody commented and said it's like they don't want you to use the mods. That seems a bit weird to me. Seems a very strange concept. You want people to buy the game, you want them to play the game, why would you not want them to be able to use the mods that are coming out? Again, I'm in no way saying it's right, wrong or indifferent, just saying what's out there. It hasn't really affected me too much. When I do my Let's Plays, if I want to use a mod, I'll download it, I'll install it. I have to manage my whole, save game situation carefully. But I think that's what most people probably do. But there you go. That's it. Just a very, very quick rundown on the maps and mods and slot counts and what it is. I hope you found it useful and informative. Is there an answer? Have I solved anyone's problem? Probably not. But it's there. You can have a look and see what you think. If you have found this useful in some way, shape or form, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.